There's a reason why some people always win. They don't flinch, they don't chase, they watch, and they wait. Every room has one person quietly calculating, while everyone else talks. Every empire has one man writing laws in the shadows. While the king gives speeches, the world you live in is shaped not by the loudest, but by the most quietly dangerous minds. And the most dangerous minds are not born. They are built brick by brick, in silence, through decisions that would make others shiver. You're not here by accident. You're here because part of you is waking up. And once that part wakes up, it will never go back to sleep. You've felt it, haven't you? That subtle itch in your brain that tells you everyone's playing a game they won't admit. That conversations are layered. That kindness can be a strategy. And weakness is sometimes worn like perfume. Pleasant but poisonous. You've suspected that truth is a currency. That some people pretend to be confused to buy time. That trust is given too quickly. That what they call being a good person often means being easy to control. You were right, but here's the hard part. Once you begin to see, you can't unsee. You'll start noticing the power dynamics in every interaction. You'll notice how often people lie, not to deceive you, but to preserve their image. You'll watch them use laughter to dismiss threats, tears to disarm consequences, and silence to win wars. If you want to be truly smart, dangerously smart, you must first understand that intelligence is not about knowing facts. It's about knowing people, not what they say, but what they hide. The truly intelligent don't argue. They don't need to. They move in ways that make argument irrelevant. They never say, "I'm better than you." They just prove it without a word. When others show strength, they show restraint. When others show restraint, they strike. This isn't a mindset for everyone. Most people are addicted to approval. Most people want to be liked more than they want to win. But if you're still here, then you might be one of the few who are ready. Ready for what? Not answers, questions, the right ones. Why do people follow those they fear? Why do men respect cruelty in others, but not in themselves? Why does silence make the guilty confess more than interrogation ever could? Why is it that a person can hold all the right beliefs and still be powerless? Because belief is not power. Power is the ability to make belief irrelevant. Power bends truth. Power reshapes memory. Power makes people question their own eyes. And yet power is fragile. It only works if you understand its nature. You must learn when to speak and when to vanish, when to attack and when to appear defeated. You must master the art of becoming underestimated. The wolf who limps so the sheep feel safe. The mask must be perfect, too perfect. But here's the real secret. You don't learn this in school. No book in your curriculum will show you how to manipulate perception, control a room, or bait someone into exposing themselves. But Machiavelli knew. He saw it centuries ago. The ones who rise are not the most moral, nor the most intelligent. They are the most strategic. They know people crave comfort, and they use discomfort as a weapon. They know people love flattery, and they weaponize silence. They know people hate confrontation, so they create invisible traps instead. You will never be told this openly, because if you become too aware, too perceptive, too unmoved by emotion, you become dangerous. And the world doesn't like dangerous people, not because you'll hurt them, but because you'll see through them. And there is no defense against someone who sees through you. That's why most of them will call you cold, or detached, or heartless. But those are just names the weak give to the disciplined. The ones who don't fall for sob stories, who don't flinch when others yell, who don't mistake chaos for strength. Those are the ones who are feared, quietly, secretly, but absolutely. If you're still listening, something in you has already begun to change. Your mind is no longer content with the surface. You're starting to ask questions about people's motives. You're starting to realize that most behavior is camouflage. The nice boss who always compliments you, why does he do it? The friend who never gives you direct answers, what is he hiding? The partner who panics when you go silent, what have they built their power on? These questions are dangerous, but only to those who have something to hide. For you, they are the beginning of power, and now you need to know how to use it. First rule, never reveal your full capacity. Let others think they've figured you out. Let them place you in a category, then use that category against them. People rely on patterns, break their patterns, and you become unpredictable. And what's unpredictable is feared, not because it's violent, but because it's uncontrollable. Second rule, emotional detachment is your greatest weapon. People manipulate through urgency. They'll make you feel like you have to act now, choose now, respond now. But the one who controls time, controls the outcome. Say nothing, do nothing. Watch how the mask cracks when the silence drags on too long. That's when truth slips out, through their panic, through their over-explanation, through their sudden kindness. Delay is not weakness, it is exposure. Third rule, train your face. The greatest betrayal is not in words, it's in the flicker of the eye, the micro-expression, the tightening of the jaw. People reveal themselves constantly. You don't even need to ask. They'll give themselves away for free. You just have to see it. But that means training your own body to betray nothing. Let them look at you and see nothing but calm. No excitement, no fear, no reaction. You are the mirror they dread, and they'll begin confessing just to fill the silence. Still think intelligence is about high grades. It's about control, not of others, but of yourself. The one who controls himself cannot be manipulated, cannot be baited, cannot be broken. But that kind of self-control comes with a cost. You will lose comfort, you will lose approval, you may even lose people. But what you gain is priceless. Because while they argue over attention, you will have influence. While they chase followers, you will lead silently. While they react, you will act. And no one will see it coming. You will become the person they whisper about. The one whose decisions can't be predicted. The one whose silence makes the room nervous. The one who seems to know what others haven't even realized yet. That is dangerous intelligence. That is what this path builds. Not fame, not flattery, but influence so refined it's invisible. And once you have that, everything else bends around you. People say power corrupts, but that's a lie told by the powerless. Power doesn't corrupt, it reveals. It reveals who you really are when no one can stop you. When your words carry weight, when your choices affect nations, families, futures. That is the final test of intelligence. Can you stay calm when everyone obeys? Can you still see truth when everyone lies to please you? Or will you become the very thing you outsmarted? The choice is closer than you think, because somewhere, someone has already begun to take you seriously, to watch your moves, to study your decisions. They see the shift, the change, the detachment. They're wondering what you're planning, and they should be worried, because you're not who you were yesterday. You've started seeing the game, and you're not here to play. You're here to win. Power isn't what they taught you. It's not volume, not presence, not wealth. It's not even leadership in the way schools and movies describe it. Real power is quiet, subtle. It's the ability to influence decisions without being in the room. It's having someone say your name in a meeting you didn't attend. It's being underestimated just long enough to strike. And when you do, they don't even know where it came from. To become dangerously smart, you must erase what you've been told about intelligence. You must forget applause, grades, and recognition. Those things exist to tame you. Real intelligence is anti-fragile. It thrives in silence, tension, uncertainty. It adapts. While others seek clarity before moving, you move and force clarity to form around you. You start by understanding one core truth. Most people are ruled by fear. Fear of being rejected, fear of looking stupid, fear of being alone, and above all, fear of being seen for who they truly are, because they know what they hide. You don't even need to fight them. You just need to remove their mask. And the easiest way to do that is to stop wearing one yourself. Nothing is more terrifying to the world than someone who doesn't flinch, someone who doesn't care if they're liked, someone who doesn't need validation to breathe. This is why the dangerously smart rise fast and quietly. They reject the script everyone else clings to. They don't tell people what they're doing. They just do it. They don't talk about plans. They execute, assess, and disappear. They are not loud about their pain, their purpose, or their goals. Why would they be? Every word gives away ammunition. Every explanation creates a weakness. You want power? Stop explaining. Most people overtalk because they're trying to be understood. The dangerously smart don't need to be understood. They need to be effective. If people misunderstand them, good, confusion is leverage. Let them think you're confused. Let them believe they've won. Then close the door behind them and make your real move. Watch any room. The ones who talk the most often understand the least. The one who speaks last usually sees the farthest. You don't have to dominate every conversation. You have to master timing, wait long enough, and others will show you their playbook. Their egos won't let them stay silent. That's when you strike, not with words but with precision. Never interrupt an enemy when they are making a mistake. That's Machiavellian law. Let them walk into their own fire. Light no match, touch no blade, but arrange the pieces so their fall looks like an accident. You weren't the villain, you were just watching. To reach this level, you must become addicted to observation. Study not just what people say, but why they say it. What's beneath their tone? What do they emphasize? What do they avoid? Lies are told with too many words. The truth is often betrayed by silence. Learn to listen between the lines. Become sensitive to the space around words, the pauses, the hesitations, the overcorrections. That's where reality lives. And don't mistake kindness for safety. The most manipulative people are pleasant. They don't use threats, they use gratitude. They offer favors you didn't ask for. They flatter you when no one else does. And just when you feel indebted, they ask for something small. Just a conversation, just a tiny favor, just a commitment. And once you say yes, they have you, not because of what you owe, but because they know what you fear losing. Never become addicted to kindness. Use it, respect it, but never need it. And never assume someone is harmless because they're quiet. Quiet people are either weak or watching. If they're watching, you should be careful. If they're quiet and underestimated, they are the most dangerous, because when they move, it won't be emotional, it will be surgical. That is how power operates, not in bursts of rage, but in calm, cold calculation. This does not mean indifference, it means control. Control over tone, over breathing, over face. It means being told the worst thing and blinking once. It means being lied to and saying nothing. It means watching betrayal and still smiling. Because when your enemy believes you haven't seen them, they don't hide. Let them think you're blind. Let them think they've fooled you. That's when they expose themselves completely. And when they do, you don't need revenge. You only need a decision. Most enemies destroy themselves. You just have to outlast them. And silence is the greatest endurance test. Let people underestimate you. It's the most efficient camouflage. You don't need to impress. You need to outlast. Let them burn fast while you build slowly. Their ego is the fuel. Your patience is the spark. Eventually, their fire dies out, and you're the one still standing. The long game is where the dangerously smart always win. That's another thing Machiavelli understood. Most people are playing for today. They want respect now, they want love now, they want revenge now. But the intelligent play for years. They let go of minor wins to secure major ones. They say no to validation because they're focused on leverage. Leverage doesn't come from being right. It comes from being useful, unpredictable, and necessary. If you are none of these, no one will care how good you are. They will forget you, and the world forgets quickly. So you must always be building something invisible. A skill, a weapon, an idea. Something others don't see but one day will need. When that day comes, they'll remember you, and they'll pay. In loyalty, in resources, or in silence. But you must first train your instinct. The dangerously smart don't just act wisely, they react strategically. Every response is filtered through one question. What advantage does this give me? If the answer is none, they walk away. If the answer is unclear, they wait. If the answer is leverage, they act. This is not cruelty, it is efficiency. Emotions are honored, but not obeyed. The mind leads, the heart is consulted, but decisions come from discipline. Discipline is your only true freedom. Without it, you're a slave to impulse. And slaves are never dangerous. They react, they chase, they regret. The dangerously smart are disciplined, even when no one is watching, especially then, because they know that's when the advantage is built. They're working when others rest, thinking when others speak, planning when others react. And that's why they don't lose. Not because they're better, but because they're never caught unprepared. Most people wait for the storm to panic. The dangerously smart build their shelter before the sky even darkens. They read the signs. They see the shift in tone, the change in pace, the absence of eye contact. They prepare before it's needed, and that is how they never need to be rescued. The world is not fair, but it is readable. If you study the patterns, if you notice the illusions, you gain something more important than fairness. You gain control. Control over your mind, control over your emotions, and control over your outcomes. You won't always win, but you will never be helpless, and that is the difference. The helpless scream, the dangerous wait. The helpless beg, the dangerous bait. The helpless need permission. The dangerous move in silence. And every time they do, the world adjusts around them, not because they forced it, but because they understood it. And in the end, that's what intelligence really is. Not knowledge, but understanding. Not what's taught, but what's noticed. Not answers, but questions. Not volume, but timing. And now that you've begun to see, everything is about to change. Because once you see the truth behind people, you stop being their puppet. You become something else. Something they can't read. Something they can't predict. Something they can't ignore. And that is what makes you dangerous. You've come too far to go back. Too far to pretend you didn't hear what you heard. Too far to unlearn the mechanics of power. Silence, timing, perception, detachment. Strategy, you are no longer curious. You are becoming, and becoming is dangerous. You've watched the weak beg for mercy they would never offer you. You've seen how those who demand loyalty the loudest are the first to betray. You've realized that most people don't want the truth. They want comfort. They don't want clarity. They want affirmation. And they don't want justice. They want revenge wrapped in righteousness. But you've gone cold, not cruel. Not malicious, cold, calm, clear. You don't look for heroes anymore. You look for patterns. You don't believe in luck. You believe in leverage. You don't need applause. You need results, and above all, you don't panic. You've developed what others fear. The ability to think clearly in chaos. When others freeze, you scan the room. When others complain, you start adjusting. When others react, you wait. And when others finally make a move, you're already 10 steps ahead. This isn't about superiority. This is about realism. The world rewards precision, not emotion. Discipline, not passion. Control, not chaos. That's why those who feel too much often fall. They get baited by drama, hijacked by rage, distracted by praise. But the dangerously smart, they feel and then filter. They hear and then translate. They sense and then strategize. This is the endgame, to be so sharp, so silent, so self-contained that the world becomes readable, predictable, malleable. Not because it changed, but because you did. You became immune to guilt. Not because you are heartless, but because you understand how guilt is used as a leash. You became immune to flattery, not because you're arrogant, but because you understand how praise is weaponized to soften your defenses. You became immune to urgency, not because you're slow, but because you know speed is the enemy's last weapon before the trap closes. And they will try, they always try. They'll try to corner you with emotion. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you used to care. They'll say you think you're better now. Let them talk. The same people who once ignored you will resent your clarity. The same people who once doubted you will fear your precision. But they don't matter, because you don't answer to people. You answer to outcomes. And the outcome you want is not survival, it's sovereignty. That's what Machiavelli wrote in the margins, that the highest form of power is not ruling others. It's ruling yourself so completely that no bribe, threat, or seduction can redirect your path. You're becoming immune to noise, immune to narratives, immune to need. And that's what makes you unstoppable, because you no longer serve your feelings. They serve you. You use sadness as fuel. You use fear as a compass. You use rage as a blade. And you sharpen it not to lash out, but to cut ties with everything that holds you back. You're not just growing, you're severing. You're burning the parts of yourself that once knelt to weakness, to longing, to confusion. The old you is gone, and that scares people, because the new you isn't soft. It's precise. The new you doesn't seek love. It commands respect. The new you doesn't ask, it moves. This is not ego. This is equilibrium. For the first time, you're not trying to win their game. You're building your own. And that game is played in silence, with strategy, with surgical coldness. Not because you hate people, but because you finally understand them. You understand how they lie for protection, how they laugh to distract, how they overpromise to trap, how they cry to reset the power dynamic. You understand that most human behavior is not malicious, it's defensive. But even defense, when misread, becomes manipulation. And you no longer get manipulated. You don't react to tone, you read intent. You don't take advice, you study motives. You don't fear rejection, you expect it. And because of that, you rarely need to defend yourself, because no attack lands when it was already predicted. Your mind is a fortress now. You don't build plans based on hope. You build them on leverage. You don't move for appearance. You move for positioning. You don't argue with fools. You make their arguments irrelevant. And while others are busy explaining themselves, you've already moved the board. This is the final form of intelligence, invisibility. You don't let them see your strategy. You don't let them trace your patterns. You don't even let them be sure of your end goal. You are everywhere and nowhere. You are nice enough to be forgotten, and sharp enough to never be underestimated again. You are uncatchable, unreadable, untouchable, not because you're loud, but because you're deliberate. And now you no longer fear enemies. You don't need to crush them, you just outlive them. They will burn themselves out trying to provoke you. They will destroy themselves trying to match your calm, because you are not calm by nature. You are calm by choice, every day. You kill the weaker version of yourself. Every day, you refuse to be reactive. Every day, you remind yourself. Power is not in control over others. It's control over your state, your pace, your frame. And that is something no one can give you. It must be taken. So take it. Not with rage, but with precision. Not with shouting, but with silence. Not with force, but with inevitability. Let them feel the shift. Let them wonder what happened. Let them talk, let them guess. Because by the time they understand what you've become, it will be too late. And you will be too far ahead. You will be the person they once underestimated, the one they laughed at, the one they ignored, and the one who, in the end, they could never touch. You will be the danger they never saw coming, and the intelligence they were never ready for. You are not just smart now, you are dangerously smart.